Welcome to a new conversation from QKS Group, where today we step into a space that's been overlooked for far too long, the end user's journey in software buying.
So let's talk about the part that nobody mentions, the rollout. Once the contract is signed, the software goes live, and then nothing. It just stalls. Teams do not use it, or worse, they try and they give up. So a beautiful demo tool, full of potential, ends up as a shelfware.
And mind you, it's not because it's a bad software, but it's because it wasn't the right software for that organization's needs.
Now here's the kicker. Everybody thought that it did the right thing. The RFP was rigorous, even the advisory partner ran a whole playbook.
But no one was asking the real questions. Who is the software actually for? What does a good day look like for them? What pains are we solving? Not on paper, but in practice.
So let's try to understand why most of the software purchases leads to disappointment. Let's break it down. First reason that I foresee is complexity. You see, most of these ICT platforms like the ERP, the CRMs, and the cybersecurity tools, they are complex. Tons of features, multiple integrations. Most of the firms don't know, what best works for them. Now, this is where a strong advisory comes into the play, and it cuts through the noise and tells them what really works for them. Another aspect that I have witnessed is the misalignment of business goals. Now, your software, you could have a very powerful tool, but if it doesn't solve the scalability, the compliance, and speed parameters, you're just wasting time and money.
Exactly, Umang. Another aspect I think should be addressed here is that nowadays the software is evolving very fast, and moreover there are vendors offering specialist kind of software, which is why it becomes very difficult to understand which is the software which is the right fit for your organization. And talking about specialization, what's happening is for every technology infrastructure layer, there are modules, there are different kinds of customizations, and nowadays it is highly configurable. So because of all this, what happens is this is exactly where advisors come in. They offer, they have expertise, they are specialists, and they are abridged with what is happening in the market now. And this is why they are able to provide, vendor evaluations which are apt. They can offer advice on different kinds of pricing, and also be able to address the right ROI which would come out of the software.
And Susan, just to conclude, a good advisory firm really helps you think beyond now. So the questions that it helps you answer is that will the platform scale as you grow? Will it adopt to AI, automation, and regulatory shifts? So those are the questions that it tries to answer. And let's not forget the hidden cost. You have the licensing, you have the configurations, you have the user trainings, and when they don't align with your company's workflow, I think the adoption crashes completely. That's the reason it's very important that the due diligence happens, because once you're logged into a wrong platform, it's difficult to, it's expensive, it's painful to unwind.
So what does a good advisory look like? I'll tell you what it's not. It's not sending a 200-page report. Good advisory starts with listening, not telling. It's about sitting with a buyer and not understanding what they require, but more importantly, understand why they want it. It's about not just helping them evaluate product features, it is about understanding their operational realities. What does that entail? User needs, integration challenges, and compliance constraints.
Good advisory also acknowledges context. So a mid-sized logistics firm may not need what a global bank requires, but many analysts offer the same shortlist to both. This is where a scenario-specific insights come into the picture, and that's the real value. Susan, let's talk about something we hear a lot from clients. They say that we did our research, we read the reports, and we followed the ranking, but the outcome fell short.
That's because not all analyst deliverables and research are created equal. It's built it's built in such a way that's broad, static, and let's be honest, built for a different era. The first Another thing that comes to mind is most of the analyst research methodologies are economically structured, which means it mostly evaluates revenues and market share and not exactly user experience, which is more critical right now. Another thing is that most of the analyst frameworks are built during those times when product cycles moved slower.
Exactly, Sujan. Today's customer, they don't need a quadrant, they need insights. And when I say insights, I'm talking about the actual usage of that platform and how it fits into their specific industry stack. And they want to be aware of the rapidly growing landscape with AI, automation, and other mediums of collaboration coming into picture.
Yeah, that's what we mean when we said there's an illusion of objectivity. It's not because the data is wrong, it's because the lens is incomplete. And because it's not built around your realities.
And this gap matters because in the past we've worked with clients who have taken well-intentioned decision using these materials only to find at the end that they've kind of missed on critical aspects. So let's talk about some real-world examples, where bad advisory has led to costly decisions. First up is Nike's SCM failure back in 2000. That time Nike went ahead and invested in a supply chain offering, big vendor, big promises, but it couldn't match Nike's organization reality. The result, botched inventory, delayed orders, $100 million lost. To me, it was a classic case of over-reliance of vendor promises and under-evaluation of process readiness.
Another case is a case of Amazon. Amazon tried to do its HR transformation through Workday. And what happened was that it was a terrible fail. Because Workday was not able to scale up to the global scale that Amazon required. It's not because Workday was bad, it was because Workday wasn't the right fit for Amazon. The lesson is quite simple. Market leading does not always mean market fitting. Advisory is required for this purpose so that you understand what's the right fit, and it's not always what is market leading. So let's get into the economics of it. Analyst advisory is usually seen as a cost center, but what if it's the most important investment you could make? Think about the cost of getting it wrong. It's not just about a failed implementation, and it's also not about the loss in budget. But moreover, it disrupts momentum, it also brings delays to the transformation, and it also erodes team morale.
You know what, a 60K for an advisory services may seem very steep for you at the moment. But if it saves you from sinking 2 million in the wrong platform, that's not a fee, that's the cheapest mistake you didn't make.
And the upside, the right advisory doesn't just prevent failure, it accelerates success. Faster vendor selection, higher adoption rates, and most importantly, stronger ROI in less time. See, advisory needs a reset. It's not about trends or glossy charts. It's about clarity.
You know what? It should help buyers do 3 things. One is understand the trade-offs, not just the highlight reel. Also, understand where the solution will fit in their particular stack. And most importantly, understand how what happens after the contract is.
So that's what we focus on. We don't start with products, we start with problems. We don't rank, we recommend based on real-world fit.
So if you're buying tech, stop asking who's the leader. Start asking what's right for us right now.
And more importantly, if you don't know, don't gamble. Talk to someone who has seen through all the problems and knows how to make it right. That's what QKS is built for. Thanks for watching.
And remember, best strategy starts with clarity.
And that's exactly what we're here to provide.
We'll see you next time.